if you have identified, if you realize that the reason you're not taking a step in certain areas of your life, regardless of the area, you know there's something more that you want to do with your life. It could be in your career. It could be moving somewhere else. It could be starting a business. It could be buying a home. It could be anything you can think of. But you are aware that the reason you're not doing it is because you have trauma, right? There's something that you've been through or something that you're continuously going through off and on, maybe consistently, and it's holding you back. And what I shared in that reel is that you have the upper hand, because sometimes people are stuck in their lives. They feel stuck. They feel blah. They just don't know where to go. They don't know what's happening, but they don't know why they feel stuck. They have not made the connection that it's because of a certain traumatic experience or experiences. So as I've shared, that gives you the upper hand. Now the question is, what do we do next? Right? And that is a question some of you ask me, like, can we go deeper into this? So I want to share with you, take a pen and paper, because this here is going to change your life. This is going to start the transformation of coming out of being stuck, right? I love new beginnings, right? Welcome in, guys. Welcome in. Don't forget to get your heart meet if you're just coming in. I love new beginnings. And as we are coming out of 2025, even for myself, I'm asking myself, okay, what did I do well? Why didn't I go further here? What's holding me back? We start to reflect, and that is so important if you want to thrive in your life and not just exist, right? Society teaches us to exist, right? You do X, Y, and Z, and you just keep doing it over, and you just settle, and you just be comfortable there. Even if you're not happy, just deal with it. Just go with the flow. That's what society teaches us, but that is not what we are called here to be, right? So let's get into this. And again, get your pen and paper, because this is going to make a difference for you. If you know your trauma is holding you back in life, and welcome in, guys. I'll introduce myself in a minute, but I have like 15 minutes left, so I want to get to these points. If you are new here, welcome. First of all, my name is Naila Abdullah. I'm a former mental health therapist, turned relationship coach, transformation coach, wellness advocate, right? What I stand for, what my mission is to help you position yourself to thrive in all areas of your life, whether it be relationship wellness, physical wellness, psychological wellness, financial wellness, whatever it is. That is what we do here in this community, this tribe called the Thrive Tribe. Okay, so get your pen and paper out. I'm going to share with you some things you can start right now to start addressing that trauma that you realize is holding you back in your life. The first thing I encourage you to do is to release the shame. Okay, this is the first step, and I try to do it in order, right? Not as what's most important, but what makes sense to do first. I have to put the AC on, y'all. It's hot. Let me know if you can hear me well still. Okay. Releasing the shame is important, because no matter what else I share with you to do or whatever else you try to do, if you feel ashamed that you have trauma, if you feel ashamed that you're not progressing in the way that you would like to because of that trauma, that shame is going to hold you back from doing anything. Because when we feel shame, we try to hide, right? We don't want to do anything that's going to cause attention to us, right? And in order to move forward, in order to break out of this lock that's on you, we do have to take action. And taking action may lead to some type of exposure. Right? So when you are holding on to shame, you are afraid of that exposure, and you actually self-sabotage, because you rather stay in that bubble, even though you don't want to be there, but that feels more safe to you. That feels more comfortable to you, right? So the first step is start to release the shame. Well, you might say, okay, Naila, how do I release the shame? You start to release the shame by self-talk and reminding yourself, no one is perfect. We all have trauma. We all have trauma. Okay? Trauma that by definition is perfect. We all have trauma. We all have trauma. Okay? Trauma that by definition, right? You've been through something that has been distressing to you, and there's different levels. There's something as small as trauma to your toe when you hit it up against a cupboard, or trauma in the sense of something much more drastic, death, abuse, something like that, right? So it all is trauma. It's just different levels, right? So you want to remind yourself, I don't have anything to be ashamed of, because we all have trauma. We're all human. We all have trauma. We all experience trauma on different levels. Okay? And you keep reminding yourself of that. You are no less valuable than anyone else because you have trauma. You're no less valuable than anyone else because your trauma is holding you back. Because the reality is, trauma holds all of us back to some extent. Right? And depending on the tools that we have, the support system that we have, the psychological state that we have will determine how and when it holds us back. But no one on this earth has not experienced trauma or has not experienced trauma holding them back. So that's how we're going to start to release the shame. Okay? The second point is, I want you to remind yourself you're not lazy. You're just worn out. You're burnt out. Okay? I'm saying that because when you are experiencing trauma, a lot of times you may experience low energy, low motivation, lack of enthusiasm for life. Welcome in, guys. Grab your heart me if you haven't already. Okay, we're talking about trauma holding you back in life. Okay, so I want you to remind yourself, because that's another thing. Sometimes you might get down on yourself. I'm so lazy. Look, I haven't done what I said I was going to do. And it just turns into this spiral where you are not executing in the way that you want to. Right? Thank you so much for the hearts. So remind yourself you are not lazy. You are worn out, but it doesn't have to end there. Okay? It does not have to end there. Okay? Sometimes you're going to have to push yourself through even when you don't feel like it, but you're not lazy. So don't take on that label anymore. Third point, stop trying to heal alone. Okay? And this goes back to the shame. That's why that was the first thing I shared, was to release the shame. Stop trying to heal alone. Okay? And I'm going to go into ways that you can start healing. You can start taking action today. Right? But stop trying to do it alone. You know, one of the things I heard someone say, it was a friend of one of my brothers. He said, how did he say it? He said, when you share something with someone and they say, yeah, but that's how I do it, or that's how I've been doing it. You know, the first thing you ask them, or you can even ask yourself, because sometimes we're telling ourselves that this is just who I am. This is how I've been doing it. But the question is it working for you? The answer is no, because you're still in the same place. Right? If healing on your own was working for you, things would look different. Is it working for you? No. So you have to do something different. Okay? So if you are ready to make that decision, and I hope you are, let's not go into 2026 with issues that we can fix. You know, every time I turn on the news, I'm hearing about all these, all the war and all the just the, I don't know what I'm allowed to say here on this platform, so I'm not going to say too much. But the sadness, right? The hurt that human beings are going through in all these different countries, right? And it's frustrating, but I can't change it. You can't change it on your own right now, right? We can advocate, we can donate, we can do different things, but we can't say, I'm going to take action right now and it's going to stop. But when it comes to you and your healing, there are things you can start today to see a change, okay? So implement the first 3 things we talked about. Now, when we talk about you don't have to do it alone, you want to look into starting some sessions. And I know depending on your background, maybe your culture, your environment, starting sessions with either a coach or a therapist might feel like, is it that bad? Am I one of those people? Do I really need that? But again, I want you to ask yourself, is it working for me? What I was doing before, is it working for me? And you already know the answer to that. So yes, you have to get uncomfortable and you need to seek support. Okay? The same way you don't feel well and you go to your doctor's office or the clinic or wherever you need to go to get support so you can heal, sometimes we need outside resources. Not all the time, but sometimes. Okay? And let me share a quick story with you about that. I met a lovely family maybe about a year ago. And it was a husband and wife and their adult children, but the wife brought her sister with her. And we were all out to dinner together. Lovely family. So me and the sister, we were talking. And I think she was about maybe in her 50s. And she said to me, I was telling her about what I do, my online coaching and my different services. And she said, I had struggled for a long time in my life. And I just went to therapy for the first time. She said she struggled in relationships and she never really understood why, that she could not have healthy relationships. She went from an unhealthy relationship to unhealthy relationship. And she said to me, I went to therapy for the first time about a year ago. She said, and I don't want to misrepresent what she said, but she said something to the effect of she was so frustrated with herself that she didn't do it sooner because she is a completely different woman now. Right? And let me say this is not saying therapists or coaches are magicians. To see things from a different perspective, right? They're helping you to process your feelings and your emotions. They're helping you to figure out the connections. You already started off making the connections by saying, okay, I want to do this, or I don't like where I am in life, and I think it's because of this trauma that I've been through. You already started making a connection yourself, which is great. Right? But now you need to, if you really want to get out of that space, now you need to take it a step further and get connected to someone that can help that process move along. Right? And the reason I brought that story up is because some people may say, oh, no, I don't really need that, or, I can get through it, and, okay, but also how much time do you want to take? I don't believe in being hasty and rushing things, but I also believe that sometimes we can get to where we want to be sooner if we weren't so stubborn, right? And that's all of us, right? And that's not only about trauma. That could be business. That could be career. We live in a great time now where there are people right here on social media, right, where they're doing something you already want to do, and it's just a matter of learning from them. So instead of it taking you 5 years, it could take you 5 months because you're learning from someone who's already been there, right? So getting back to the sessions, I've had 5 more minutes. Getting back to how not to heal alone is that you want to start sessions with a coach or therapist. I highly, highly recommend you doing the research on that, on those persons. Whether it be a coach or a therapist, make sure that they understand some of what you've been through. Check out their content, see what they're sharing about, and just make sure that you feel like they can help move the needle for you. Okay? And then the next way to stop trying to heal alone is to build a relationship with God. Okay? How do we build a relationship with God? The same way you build a relationship with people. You need to spend time with Him. How do I spend time with Him, Naila? Take some time out of your day. Start with 10 minutes of sitting in silence. And I know that's hard, right? So if you even want to start with 5 minutes, set your phone to 5 minutes on your phone and just sit in silence. And that's difficult. So you can say something. What I say is, I'm here, God. I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you, God. I receive you. Create a sentence that's going to allow you to stay in that moment, right? And it's going to be difficult. Your mind is going to wander. Sometimes your mind is not wandering. Sometimes He's downloading ideas into you, messages into you. Okay. Can you guys hear me now? I have my alarm going off. The more you do it, the more you will be able to decipher whether it's your mind wandering off or God talking to you, right? But this is how you build a relationship. Take time. So if you want to take 10 minutes, you can do 5 minutes of meditation, which is just sitting silently and dedicating that time to Him, to let Him download into you. Sometimes you'll sit there and you won't hear anything, and that's okay too, but it's taking time to spend time with Him. And then take the next 5 minutes to read a few scriptures. I read a chapter. If you want to start with just a few scriptures, you can do that as well. Okay, but that is how you build a relationship with Him. You want to build a relationship with Him, again, because we're not here to do life alone. Okay? And therapists, coaches, friends, family, your entire support system, your online community, it's all great, but they are resources. So God will use them to guide you. God will use them to add another layer of support to you, but God is the ultimate source. Okay? And the last point I want you to keep in mind when you are trying to heal, not and no longer trying to heal alone, and you are getting that support, expect that healing is going to be uncomfortable and confronting. Going for therapy, going for coaching, or taking a course or a program, it's going to be confronting. Don't let that stop you. Don't let the spirit of offense block your blessings. Okay? In order for us to heal, we have to be confronted with our own decisions. And it's not about putting you down. It's not about putting anyone down, us as human beings. But we have to be able to take responsibility. We have to be able to identify what path, where did I go wrong, so I can do it better the next time. Okay? But don't let being uncomfortable, don't let being challenged, don't let feeling confronted stop you from getting the healing that you deserve. I pray that this message bless you. For those of you just coming in, I don't know. I have to see how TikTok works with the replays of lives. But I will also put it on my YouTube channel. So if you go to the link in my bio, you will see my YouTube channel there where I will post all of my lives. But this was a very important topic. Again, if you missed some of it, go back and watch the replay, whether it's here on this platform or on YT, YouTube. But this is where we were talking about what to do when you know your trauma is holding you back from getting more out of life. Okay? You don't have to be stuck there. You don't. And here's the thing. Time is going to pass anyway. If you don't do anything, the next 12 months is going to pass by and you'll be in the same place. If you do something, 12 months is going to pass by and your life is going to look different, right? So let's do our best, guys.